Thank you, Kevin, for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. And again, welcome to our Wednesday webinars, specifically on this week on induction ranges. Apologies for missing it a bit of a week ago when I was snowed in, but we are here now, and I'm extremely excited to present induction ranges behind me. Before I start, I just want to give a bit of background quickly about myself and how I started to fall in love with induction. Of course, coming from a background of going back a few decades, I'm used to the cooking on gas. And, you grow up and you get used to using those kind of equipment. They are still fantastic and very relevant in the industry. But recently I was introduced, and more specifically when I started at Falcon, my first project was a F900 fan-assisted induction range. And I've since then absolutely fallen in love with the equipment. There are so many reasons, so many benefits and features about these devices that made me change my mind. But one thing for sure is that it's easy to clean, it's easy to operate, it's also safe to operate. But again, the environment where you are in stays in a nice, cool environment, and it's manageable. When you're working on gas, solid tops and so forth, the ovens are on the whole time, the tops are on the whole time, it exudes a lot of heat. With induction, it's literally heat on demand. So when you need it, switch it on and there's immediate reaction. So it's instantaneous heat, which is fantastic. If you don't need it, turn it off. There's also the option with these units to have controllability from settings 1 to 10. So you can really control how you want to cook your product, whether it's a fast blast, simmer, or even just butting away slowly. So you make sure that you can achieve the correct cooking consistencies of your food products that you're cooking. So behind me, to showcase the induction and the benefits and the features best, I'm going to cook a few dishes. And again, I've started this morning, just before the demonstration, and I've put my lasagna in the oven, which I'm pre-cooking now. I'm going to finish it off with cheese, whilst I'm cooking other dishes as well. So again, you can see the controllability and the easy management of the food cooking whilst using these devices. Also behind me on both the ovens, and I'm doing the same food on either of them, on both of them actually, I've got cream of cauliflower soup. Now this I've cooked this morning, I've blended it, and it's sitting on the back of the stove and I haven't stirred it at all yet. And it's sitting at a setting number 1, just turning over, keeping it above 65 degrees, and I'm guaranteed that it will not burn and catch, which is so often the case when you're using gas equipment. Okay, so I'm going to turn to the units, and I'm going to start cooking a few items, and I'll be talking as I go along. And I know Kevin will jump in with a few questions as well. If you can, Kevin, if the people are putting it in the chat box, you're more than welcome to do so, and I'll answer that accordingly.
Of course.
Okay. So the dishes that I'll cook today will be the cream of cauliflower soup. I've have a pickled walnut and rapeseed oil dressing with that, with shaved Parmesan cheese. I'll be doing fresh sea bass, which will be lightly pan-fried, nice crisp skin. I'm serving sun-blushed tomatoes with that, or pan-blushed tomatoes with that, not sun-blushed. Do apologize. I've got pak choy, and then tender stem broccoli with it as well, and then just a fresh vinaigrette to go over the top, get it nice and light. And then I'm doing traditional lasagna. And again, the reason I'm doing lasagna with the garlic bread is to showcase that the ovens, both of them, have got even cooking over both shelves, but again, it manages load quite well as well, simultaneously. So whether you're starting from the top shelf, over to the bottom and vice versa, you're guaranteed that you'll get good even cooking and good performance from both the units. One thing you'll probably see during the demonstration as well is that although so similar in induction, has the same technologies and functionality in it. However, with the two units, one distinctive difference is the fact that the 1 series, slightly lower performance, aims for a certain market, and then with the Dominator unit, so the 1 series to my right, the Dominator to your left is a more stronger unit, so more for your faster cooking, bigger demand, heavier demand, and bigger loads. Take nothing away from the 1 series induction. It's a fantastic unit. I have it in my kitchen. I cook on it almost on a daily basis. Both the units are fantastic, and again, it's not going to change my love for induction. So let me start cooking, otherwise I'm going to be talking till tomorrow. Okay. So any questions come through yet, Kevin?
No, not at the moment, Shaune. I'm sure they will follow shortly.
Okay. So to the back of the stove, I have 2 pots on the right-hand side again. I've got my cream of cauliflower soup, which is going away. Again, you can see the good volume, then the volume difference between the two. So we've got probably an 10 liter pot over there. You can go bigger, and a smaller pot again on the 1 series induction. As long as you can fit your pot inside the cooking zone where it is at, you'll have optimal performance from it. If the pot overlaps the zone, you can still cook and it will still be efficient. Again, it just depends on what your application will be. If you want to cook large volumes of product, and I'm talking about a big stock pot, heavy stock pot, 50, 60 liters of soup, the 1 Series will struggle to keep up with that, although the Dominator will blast it away in record time. So again, the give and take between the two units, definitely. And also the market for the both. Again, schools, cafeterias, tea rooms, coffee shops, banqueting catering, hotel, restaurant catering, bulk catering and production for the Dominator series. Those are your markets that you want to have a look at. Okay. So I'll plate up the soup. Okay.
Shaune, I noticed that you have a couple of pans on one particular ring there.
Yes.
Can you use multi-pans on per zone?
Kevin, yes, you can. However, I just need to caution to say be absolutely careful for the pans not to touch each other because fusion can take place. So with fusion, I mean that the two pans can create a reaction, so they almost gel together. So be careful not for the pans to touch, and then multi-pan cooking per zone is definitely achievable. Okay.
Okay, Shaune, I've got a question that's come in. Does it require different or specific pans for induction, etc.? If so, what are the cost differences?
Yes, Kevin, you do. So again, you need to have pots and pans which have got ferromagnetic materials in them. So I just call it ferrous-friendly pots. Again, these ones are maybe slightly more expensive than your conventional pots and pans, but with modern trends going on and of course the popularity of induction increasing, these pots and pans have become by far more affordable. So you can get really, really high quality to a quality that you can afford also. So if you want to go the really, really expensive way, certainly you're open for that. But again, if you want to go the affordable route, these are also very manageable and very adequate for the induction tops. Just depends on what you want to invest. Okay. What I'll do is I'm going to get my pans on for the sea bass, and by that time as well, I'll get my cheese on top of my lasagna to start baking from the top.
Okay. Shaune, I also had another question in. What is the biggest suitable pot for the smaller for the 1 Series induction?
Sorry, Kevin, can you repeat it? I had the oven on.
What is the biggest suitable pot for the 1 Series induction?
Well, Kevin, if you can have a look at the images in front of you, I've got pots and pans here up to 28 centimeters on the 1 Series induction, and they fit ample inside the zone, and about 32 centimeters on your Dominator range.
Okay, good. Yep. I see we've got 4 on the Dom Plus and the 6 zones on the 1 Series.
Yes. So again, you've got 6 smaller zones on your 1 Series, and then the 4 larger zones on your Dominator unit.
And with this 1 Series, Shaune, is it the single phase unit or is it the 3-phase unit?
This particular one over here is a 3-phase unit, but we have single phase available as well, Kevin.
Okay.
Okay. The difference in kilowatt output on the different devices. This particular unit over here has got 1.85 kilowatt zones, opposed to the Dominator to its right, which has 3.5 kilowatt zones. So again, it's almost double the power. So you can expect double the performance from the Dominator unit opposed to the 1 Series. But once again, if you do not need that power, that amount of power, the 1 Series is more than sufficient enough for you. You're doing smaller amounts of catering and also the types of food that you cook.
Okay, mate.
Any other questions so far, Kevin?
Is it possible to use multiple pans per ring on any induction or just Falcon, i.e. this model?
On most induction, you can use it, but it also depends on where the sensors and the coils are situated and how they are spun underneath the zones that you are. So the spinning of the coils where we are, it covers that whole zone. So the sensitivity is very, very accurate on our induction. And then you can manage to get multiple pans on it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's lasagna almost ready as well. That was in for 45 minutes. I'll give it another 15 just to toast lightly. Okay, and I'll get onto the sea bass. All right. Okay, so for the sea bass, I've got each 2 little fillets, which I'm going to pan fry lightly. And then I'm going to cook some pak choy and some tender stem broccoli with it as well to make it a nice springy type of dish. And then finish it off with a nice vinaigrette. Okay, so I've got my 2 blanching pots on at the back, as you can see. And the water is turning over very, very nicely, which is what you want for cooking vegetables and retaining the beautiful green and vibrant colors that come from the veg. Okay.
Shaune, we have a question in. It says, what are the key differences between the Falcon and other induction suites? I'll take this one if you don't mind.
Okay.
Basically, the Falcon induction is true commercial products, true commercial coils. There are other sort of induction units that is more so on a domestic side. But the good thing from our point of view, we've had the Dominator Plus induction range available for the last 10, 11 years. And we've got sort of history of that, the performance in the estates where they are. And it really is. I just think it's an amazing product. You know, call outs to it, etc. for engineer visits is absolute minimal. They're still going strong. We fully expect 30,000 working hours from our Dominator Plus units. And if that would equate to sort of 8 hours a day, that would probably give you 10 years, this is what we would expect, and it's actually bearing fruit. It's actually coming to fruition. This as we have the history of where these units are in the marketplace.
Well, taking that into consideration and the actual activity that's going on in a commercial kitchen, Kevin, that is very, very good. If you think about it, 30,000 hours, that's a lot. You know, these units do take a hammering. It's got 6 mil, industrial strengthened glass with excellent, pliability almost, and it can really, really manage heavy loads and also the activities that you would expect chefs to be performing accordingly. So,
well, from my personal experience, Chef, you mentioned about the 6 mil toughened glass. I've only ever had one where it needed replacing, and that was due to somebody standing on it to clean the canopy prior to opening of a new site. It wasn't anything to do with the actual performance of the unit. And again, sort of we managed to get sort of like a new top out there within 2 days, and that was fixed, ready for opening. So, but what do we do, Shaune, in terms of is there what test does it go through sort of for this glass 6 mil toughened?
Well, Kevin, online we've got a drop test which is online, which you can go and view, and that shows a very, very large vessel that we drop on the glass at various angles and at various positions on the glass, and it actually manages that. You can also see the glass almost having a bit of buoyancy to it, almost like a shock absorber, which also helps the glass from not shattering and breaking away. So it is strong. Again, you need to take a bit more care with cooking on induction than what you would on a gas solid top, because of course it's not as robust as what steel would be, but you do get used to that quite fast. And once this is a piece of equipment that will really be so beneficial to your operation. Okay. So that's my vegetables nicely blanched. Just getting them refreshed, season them, and then we're almost ready to go with our sea bass. And that's how fast it is. And as you can see, both devices at the same time, the same food products, they're cooking exactly the same. Okay, it's almost like ready, steady, cook here. Need to shake my backside. Anyway.
Sure, we have a question that's coming as well. Is there a 600 wide footprint floor standing induction cooker in the range? I'll take that one. The induction ranges are 900 mil wide, both of these 2 units. We do also do boiling tops, which is 400 wide. So yeah, so to actually answer the actual specific question, there's not one in there at 600 wide.
Thank you, Kevin. And everybody, as you can see, that's both the sea bass already nicely cooked. Just turning the tomatoes over, and then we can start plating. And that was really, really under 5 minutes. Well, it's 3 minutes actually. It's been going on. So just get that to blast. So again, with the 1 series induction, we have on-screen, not on-screen display, but on-glass display. There's infrared LED icons, not infrared, red LED icons on the glass. So you can at all times see while you're working at what setting you are from 1 to 9. We also have on the 1 series induction, we have a boost feature, which is fantastic. So by doing the boost feature, it will take energy from the pan beyond, and it will transfer to this one. So you can really boost the energy. Instead of having 1.8 kilowatts, 85 kilowatts, you can make it higher. And by that achieving that extra, that extra temperature push, just to get your product, if you need to give it a push, ready in no time. So that's a nice feature to have. We also have a incremental setting of between 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees, which are excellent if you want to hold products and have even more control of your food, which is fantastic to have. Okay. So again, I'm using a variety of dishes over here. So I've got Matfer, I've got Bouget, I've got so many different manufacturers of pots and pans. Just to show you the versatility of it, you can literally use so many different manufacturers for your cooking. Okay, so I'll start to plate up. Okay, and I'll talk through it. Let's have a look at my lasagna. It's almost ready, so I can get my garlic bread in as well.
You always make me feel hungry, Chef.
Yeah, I wish you guys could be here, honestly. So, but we'll find a home for the grub today.
Yeah, I've had another question come in, Shaune, and I'll take this one actually. If one ring becomes faulty, does it affect the whole range? No, it doesn't. With an engineer visit, we can diagnose if there is a fault, and if there is a specific coil that needs replacing, then that can be replaced.
Okay. So Kevin, thank you for that, Kevin. So over here, I've got a black olive and red wine paste, which I've made, and it gives you a nice little acidic contrast to the sea bass and the dish, and it will work together very nicely with the fresh salad that I've got going. So I'll be starting to plate up first, and then when we're done with that, we'll carry over to the lasagna. Okay. All right. I just remember during all the live demos, Kevin, how nerve-wracking this is to be plating up in front of customers when they're sitting opposite the pass. So, but I guess we'll be back to those days very soon.
Yes, we have a roadmap out of lockdown, Chef.
That's it. That's what we want to hear. Okay.
Chef, does the induction hob have a hot hob indicator to warn of heat still on the hob area?
Yes, it does. On the 1 series, it will tell you that the zone's actually hot. Okay. On the Dominator one, again, you can see when there's a pot and pan active, with the icon, with the LED icon in the front of the unit will be flashing if there's nothing active. Once it's switched on, if it's off, it will stay off and remain off. And if there's a pan on it, it will be illuminated like you see on this particular one.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you be able to use a wok on these, Shaune?
There are special woks that are designed for induction, Kevin. And the reason why I say special woks is because those woks have got a flat bottom. If you have a rounded bottom, of course, you're not going to sit on a flat surface as what you would require it to do. So it's got a flat bottom, and you can do wok cooking on here, yes. There are also specific woks that you can buy for that purpose, and they are readily available.
Okay.
All right. So how's it looking so far, Kevin?
It's looking great, Chef.
Okay. It's nice to have nice, fresh, and you know, beautiful ingredients. You can't go wrong with that.
Chef, regarding running cost, how do they compare for the traditional gas stoves?
There are energy savings which can be made with these devices, and the reason why I say energy savings, which is not beneficial just to the chef operator, but also to owners and managers and of establishments, because it's heat on demand. You don't have to leave the units on. I often still find, even in the kitchens when I work, even if it's a 6-ring and it does not like necessarily a solid top, most of the chefs will then leave the unit on, just putting away with nothing on it. So there's just energy wasted and then money wasted as well. Where with induction, it's heat on demand and there's significant savings to be made from that.
Okay.
That's the lasagna ready as well. So over here we have then our soup. So we've got our cauliflower soup with pickled walnuts and rapeseed oil. We've got our sea bass, our spring sea bass. And I'm going to be plating up the lasagna in a second. And with that, I've got a lovely little salad as well to go with the lasagna.
We have some questions that come in on the cleaning, Chef. Do you want to like take these out sort of like once you've done your cooking, or do you
No, carry on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can multitask, maybe.
how do you clean the units and with what?
Okay, and this, Kevin, thank you for asking that question, because for certain, as I mentioned right at the start, this is probably one of the most amazing features about these units. As we all know, when the hospitality gets back, but also in the past, it's a high pressurized environment. It's often very, very long and late hours that the chefs and caterers have to work. So at the end of service, I would say in 99% of all establishments, the chefs would go and scrub the kitchen down, significantly down, really, really hard, and make sure it's clean, tidy. There's no excess debris that's stuck on it. The units are clean. If your units are clean and they're maintained well, they will also last you so much longer. So, but that takes time. But with induction, and what I'll do is, there's actually quite a lot of spillage on there already. It's just wiping it down. So I've got some soapy water, which is in a container, which I'll show to you after the lasagna.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just literally just wipe it down. You can, if you want to, you can put a hot polish on it. Don't want to market certain polishes, but there are products on the market where you can rub it on afterwards, which will be perfected further and also enhance the appearance of the units. This you can for certainly do as well.
Okay.
Okay, but honestly,
Sure.
soapy water is easy and it's really, really fast to clean.
Okay. Shaune, what's the intervals for cleaning the filters?
Another good question.
And is this available as spares? And so like, where would they be available from?
Yes. So Kevin, again, when you are doing your periodical in-house maintenance, so the cleaning of it, I would really recommend cleaning the filters as often as possible. The filters are all situated conveniently. So with most of the units, the filter is in the front, on the rear, and also into the rear of the unit, which are easily removable. And these can just be brushed. These can just be brushed with a dry brush to make sure they're clean. If they are caked up with some compound, maybe somebody spilled something on it for some reason, or some splash you've had from the floor or from the back, once you've washed them and dried them out correctly, they can be reinserted in the position and then your unit's safe to go. It's very important that the filters are kept clean, because they will optimize the performance of a unit and also the lifetime. Okay. The spares are available through our distributors and dealers, and especially, you can contact Falcon again. We can advise you accordingly. The filters are also available via First Choice, which are kindly supplying that to the industry as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Shaune, I'll just touch on the running costs as well.
Yep.
What we can do, and this is more for the attendees on the webinar, we can actually, I had a situation once where a customer had some solid tops and they were looking to replace the gas solid tops with induction ranges. Yeah. So what we've done, obviously, because they were Falcon solid tops, but we can sort of work out the kilowatt loadings on the gas and the energy usage. And we can actually come up with comparisons, pretty specific comparisons in terms of running costs. So if there's a bit of kit out there in situ already, then we can actually compare to what's being used at the moment as to looking at replacing it with induction. So this is available. We have all information, sort of like brochures, etc. Sort of like, and obviously our team is on hand for any queries specific to technical. So
thank you for that.
We can get that information to you. Shaune, what is the smallest size pan that you can use on the hob?
Kevin, I'll actually show you an example of the smallest size one. If you look towards the back here, these are roughly about 19 to 20 centimeters.
Yeah.
And they're quite adequate. They can fit in there. They can push to the side. If the pans are smaller, you need to, if it touches one of the coil sensors, for instance, then it can keep it going. So if the pans are smaller than this one, you might just have to move it around a little bit before it gets recognized. But for me, that is a sufficient and an efficient pot pan size to use for most applications for restaurant a la carte cooking.
Okay.
Again, you won't really go smaller than that, Kevin. Okay. All right. So we have a lovely bowl of lasagna here. Okay. So it's a garlic bread. And again. Ideally, you should really let the lasagna rest a little bit before you cut it and dish it up. But for this purpose, I'll dish it up straight away. Okay. And there we have it. All right.
It's looking great, Chef.
So Kevin, that's 3 dishes done. There's 3 dishes done in no time at all. And now, finally, the cleaning. So the camera can't really put on it, but what I'll do is I'll rub a piece of lasagna on top of the hot surfaces, and then I'll just show you quickly how easy it is to clean it. So I've got a bit of cheesy mix over here, which I'm going to be putting on top of the unit. Maybe on that one. Here you go. Okay. So the glass surface will remain warm for a bit, but it's not going to scald your hands. So it will just stay warm until it's properly cooled down. But again, I've got the lasagna on here and I'll just rub it in. So again, if this was on a solid top, that would cake on immediately and it'll be a nightmare to clean it after service. Not just a nightmare, but it's going to take you a while as well. So all I come now with, I come with a bit of paper towel, grab my mess, put that to the side, and then I'll come with just some cold water with a bit of soapy liquid. And this can be any liquid, just your normal dishwashing liquid, fairy liquid, whatever you use. Can be plain water if you prefer. And then I come over the top, give it a quick wipe. All right. And I come with a dry towel. And then we are back. We are back to new again. There we go. And that's how fast it was.
It really is as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's induction cooking for you. And as always, as I always say at the end of the webinars, we are here to help. It's catering for all. Any culinary advice, please get in touch. Get in touch via the social media channels. We are here for you. Thank you very much for your time again this morning.